that you hear the news. There's good rockin' tonight. Have you heard the news? Everybody's rockin' tonight. I wanna hold you, baby, as tight as I can. Tonight you know I'm a mighty fine man. I heard the news. There's good rockin' tonight. Well, we're gonna rock. Let's rock. Well, we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. Let's rock all of our blues away.
Yeah. Very happy to have you on the show for the first time. Well, I've been promising it for years, but then again, you were on a month ago on the live one. Okay. And we'll talk to Ronnie a little later. He'll sing a little more. And I'm Art Fein. This is Little Art's Poker Party coming to you from Santa Monica with one regular guy and some very special guests.
Yeah, I'm a regular guy.
Regular guy, first time in a while, Todd Everett. Todd, welcome to the show.
I'm delighted to be here.
Do you have a record out, or have you written a book or anything lately?
I am in the Herald Examiner several times a week. Only costs a quarter.
Wow, that's the LA Herald Examiner. That's
just
available.
Acres of entertainment for a quarter.
Do you suggest that people buy it every day?
Certainly.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to your writing. We think it's real great. So welcome to the show. First time in a long time. Next, first time in town in a long time. Miss Mercy. That's what we call her.
How you doing?
Hello, Mercy.
Hi. Which way am I looking?
Yeah, that's
Don't worry
look
about
at the
it.
camera anyway.
Okay.
It's up to them to find you.
Mercy and Miss Pamela Des Barres. Welcome, Pamela. Thank you. Now, let's see. We'll do it
That's
out
how
of
you get
order.
a reputation.
A reputation? Please.
We'll do it out of order.
I'm not going to discuss it.
Pamela has written this book, which is a bestseller nationwide. Actually, we don't have to flog this anymore because it's made its mark.
It's made its mark intensely, I think.
And what about the movie or TV or anything of it?
Well, we have finally a director, and now we're looking for writers. We're interviewing writers.
I'm a writer.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, writer.
Interviewing screenwriters.
Okay. Now,
Hey, how hard can it be?
Very hard. Well, we were all there.
now, whoops, you guys were together in the band, the GTOs, in what year
Which
was
they
that?
just re-released on us.
69, 70, 71.
It was on Frank Zappa's label, what?
Bizarre Straight.
Straight.
You've got to show the inside.
Yeah,
of it.
the inside's a lot
The
better.
inside is all the girls just being ridiculous. See that?
Let's hold it.
How do you have to do it?
Let's hold it very still for this young lady, and point yourselves out because I can't see it.
Well, this is me,
Yeah. Who else is there?
Miss Sandra, Miss Cinderella, Miss Christine, and Mercy on the end.
That's Mercy on the end. Yeah, you guys have years and years of photos and stuff you brought with us from the GTO days and subsequent days.
Well, we didn't bring that many.
Well, we
What do
heard
we
about
have
any.
here? What-
Okay,
one
if you
more
open this up,
Oh,
am
yeah.
I crossing her out?
Explain it to me. I'll hold it. And
That's
you
the
open it
Groupie
up.
issue of Rolling Stone.
Groupie
February
issue?
of 69.
Uh-huh.
And we are the centerfold.
And
Is
I'm
that
on the
too
back,
fabulous?
Please show. Oh,
And here's
there's-
Mercy, of course, topless.
That's Mercy
We,
topless.
we, we never wore any clothes in those days.
Uh-huh.
And it was fun.
Is that topless, or
You
are
could get
wearing
away with
something
that?
sort of transparent?
Well, that's grand, but it's pretty much topless, Todd.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I'll show you the centerfold, I think. Is it still in here?
Oh, yeah.
This is worth
There we go.
$30 now. And
Okay.
I saw it the other day for $30. in
Where
the
are you
store.
guys this time?
Well, they're all. This is Miss Mercy down here, and me up here, and Christine. Is this Sparky up here? Sandra, and this is, of course.
Some
It was
days.
fun.
And 20 years later, you wrote a book and you got famous again,
Oh, who knew, huh?
which was quite cool.
It was so great that I could capitalize on my past.
However, on that album, Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart singing a lead with me. We didn't even invite him to come in. He just jumped in and took my song, which is very sweet of him. People like Lowell George. There's a lot of great musicians on it. I don't like the album. I don't think it's a masterpiece.
Uh-huh.
I wish I would have had Teenie Hodges play behind me or Shuggie Otis, but can you say?
Well, you were married to Shuggie for a while, right?
Yeah.
So that album's being re-released?
It's been re-released, honey. It's
The
out there.
GTOs, yeah, it's been out about a month now.
That's on all of our formats that we like so much. It's on CD.
On CD.
With the unreleased GTOs.
What does that mean?
No, I'm just saying.
is it out on vinyl also, or just
No,
CD and cassette?
CD and cassette, yeah. I guess that's the inexpensive way to do it these days, right? Is that it?
Inexpensive for the label,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
which is, of course, the only reason that it counts.
Yeah.
They all
That's what
go
I
over to
thought.
Europe, right? It all goes over to Europe and we don't see anything, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Mercy, you've been out of town for a while, right?
5 years.
You left L.A.
Uh-huh.
5 years ago, because I used to see you around clubs.
I went to a good spot, great spot. Rockabilly was here and R&B, and we killed the punk out. Even though I love energy. I wanted to stomp on it, get the blacks back, and everything was real nice when I left. Everything was jamming, you know.
Uh-huh.
It started to again, I think, don't you?
I think it's great.
So I ended up in a place where there was no media. Nobody knew who Keith Richards was.
Where was this?
This is Lake County.
Nobody knew. That's real heavy
Anything
criteria.
interesting
man.
ever happened in Lake County?
They make speed there. It's like a white lightning place that turned into, it's Hell's Angels and the mob, and they make speed. I mean, to be truthful about it, and all underground.
And
you're
Johnny
grass.
Burnett died there.
Johnny Burnett drowned in the lake there.
This is some years before they started making speed.
Well, it used to be like a Thunder Road white lightning place, and now that's what they're doing.
Johnny was just fishing, wasn't he?
I
That's
don't.
a story I
Yes,
always
yes. I think it was a pretty sane
I was going to
death.
look up his record to see if they pushed him in. I was really going to look up his autopsy report, and I didn't get there.
They, who's that? Those people that are
Yeah,
always
they.
doing things?
Yeah, they.
Yeah, them.
All those people who wanted him to record with even more strings than he was already.
So listen, you're wearing a Graham Parsons t-shirt and buttons.
Yeah,
We
this
love
is-
him.
Okay.
We have a good
Right
picture.
before I left, I wrote this thing about Graham because it kept bothering me. You're the punk.
For those who don't know Graham,
He's a the
What are you
inventor-
doing watching
what
this show?
is he? He's a inventor of country rock.
He and
started all
Chris
that.
Hillman together invented country rock, and the Eagles, everybody stole it.
well, maybe
They-
they homage.
A
They
leader of the Flying
transmuted
Burrito
it.
Brothers.
So here he is, and I wrote this.
So Graham was in the Flying Burrito Brothers, where he made his
Right.
big
Yes.
impact and became very
big impact
famous
on our lives.
before he died in 1973.
He had me listening to George Jones. Now I didn't even. You know,
Yes, he
King
turned
of
us on
Broken
to all
Hearts.
country music. I was not into it until he turned me on to Waylon Jennings, George Jones, and Merle Haggard, and all those.
Well, I
things.
was,
So,
a little
it
bit.
was so expanding. It was so
thanks.
fabulous.
So what you're still blowing
Well, what
his horn,
happened was
so
I
to
got
speak.
haunted and wrote a story, and then I heard during the punk scene, I kept thinking about Graham Parsons. I thought, what is the matter with me? Somebody says, oh, somebody's going to write a book about
thought
Graham
that too,
Parsons. Right? But I had this story come out. I sent it to the LA Weekly called I'm a Honky Tonk. There's a Honky Tonk Angel in Hillbilly Heaven. And I won the journalist contest with it.
Oh, good.
And then it ended up again in the Graham Parsons book. So when I got this book that I never saw me in, this Graham Parsons
The
book.
Sid Griffin book we're talking about?
I got it in the library through Lake County, believe it or not, because you couldn't find it anywhere else. And on the back it said, it was the Graham Parsons Memorial Foundation. I wrote to him, and then all this stuff started
They have a
really-
magazine. They have a quarterly Graham Parsons
There's
magazine.
people, fans all over the world, and this Cam magazine. So they started sending me stuff.
So
I had-
GP is a magazine.
And Polly Parsons lives at my house now, and I'm managing her. She's a singer,
Graham's
his
daughter.
daughter.
No kidding.
21-year-old daughter. I used to babysit her when she was a year old
Where's the picture? Oh, we'll
up in Laurel Canyon, and then she read my book and wrote to my publisher 20 years later. It's so hard to believe that much time has passed, isn't it? But anyway, she's now singing, and we just signed contracts and everything. It's very exciting. I've never
Wow.
managed anyone before, but it's kind of a karmic necessity that this goes on.
Sounds great. We have a couple standard questions for people, like which I think back. And what is the first, Mercy? What's the first record you ever bought?
Oh,
I
come
First
on.
record you ever
The,
picked up?
okay, the one by, oh, God, on In Records, Endless Sleep,
Endless
Jody
Demon
Reynolds.
Records.
Jody Reynolds.
That was
yeah.
fabulous. That's the only one I can relate to. That one.
How old were you then?
How old was I?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I was in Florida. My sister was a teenager at 15.
Oh.
Okay, fine, Purple People Eater.
Wait a second. Did you?
Fess up, Mercy.
What is-
Flying
is there any,
My mother had the Sun Records. She was Jerry Lee Lewis in and out. So.
is there any Graham Parsons connection from Florida for you, or is it just down here?
That's where his foundation is.
Right, but,
But
if
you
you were
didn't
in
know
Florida.
anybody
but
in
you
I
had-
grew up in Florida.
Right, but there's-
I sort of grew up. I grew up in lots of places, but
Yeah.
I grew up there too.
Okay, but there's no. You didn't meet Graham down in
No.
Florida. No.
We
What's the
met
first
here.
record you ever bought?
Jailhouse Rock. Pretty typical, I guess, but I'm proud of it.
And then similarly on that same note, what was the first live show you ever saw?
Well, there was a band that moved in across the street from me when I was 13, so they were called the Rainbow Rockers. They were, I guess, the Beatles, really.
That's the
Well,
first
no,
one,
no,
huh?
Jan and Dean. No, Jan and Dean, that's right. I saw Jan and Dean first, I guess,
Where was
except for
that?
the guys across the street.
Yeah, where was that?
It was one of those surf things that they did. There were a lot of different bands, but I went to see Jan and Dean. Vic Dana was there. Do you remember him?
Little altar
Well-known
boy.
surf singer.
Yeah.
Very funny, Todd.
Yeah.
Well, he was there. I don't know what he's
Uh-huh.
doing. But Jan and Dean, I guess, and then the Beatles.
Bo Brummels, Ray.
Bo Brummels.
They lived right next door to me almost.
Wait, was it in L.A. or San Francisco?
No,
San
I'm from San Mateo. I know it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and
So
that's
Bo
where
Brummels
Tom
are from San
Donahue
Mateo
was.
originally?
Huh?
Bo Brummels are from San Mateo
With
originally?
Tom Donahue, they were playing a club gig there.
Yeah.
that's basically it. That and that big Cow Palace show with Phil Spector and Sonny and Sharon. I thought Sonny was Ringo Starr. That's how back it was. And the Tammy show, that was the one that made me realize there were black people.
So you were at the Cow Palace show?
That one with Sonny and Sharon, Phil Spector, Roy Orbison. You were at that?
No.
Oh.
We just know of it.
Ronnie Bingham was there.
There's an
And
album.
Rhino is recent, not all that recently, but a couple of years ago, put out an album of material from that show.
Right.
It was pretty dramatic to see Phil Spector, a little guy, get up there with all those big strings in there. God.
Well, you went to the Tammy show too?
No, I wish
You
I
just
would have
heard about it.
No,
So
I
you saw
that
the Tammy show and you realized there was James Brown and stuff?
Yeah,
Is
that,
what it was?
that's wiped everybody else out. Marvin Gaye, all of them wiped it out for me. But we had 2 channels come in. We had Tom Donahue to start an FM radio, and we had Sly Stone on KSOL. So I kept picking up.
Wait, he was a disc jockey.
There were disc jockey channels.
Was he called Sly Stone then?
Yeah.
Because I know he's with Danny Sly Stewart also.
Well, they mixed later, Donahue and him, and started all that stuff that they did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Soul channels and San Francisco is neat. Then I lived in Haight-Ashbury from '65 on.
All right, so what are you doing now?
I'm writing my book, Permanent Damage. It'll be done.
You're writing your book?
Permanent Damage.
Permanent Damage?
For a night. That's the name of our album.
That's
I
the name
named
of the album.
So for 1992.
So wait, so we
That'll
expect...
be a bargain.
Yeah, I was going to...
I mean, I think Pamela's book was, what, 1895? That was a couple of years ago.
So, so we expect...
Release. But see, I got the
We expect
time.
3 more books out of the band. No, there's one. I know one.
No,
goes
that's
down.
it. My book ends in 1992 when everything like kind of shelves together again because I've got the punk underground with the rockabilly and the R&B that I date back to the 60s and all that, and it goes up to the 80s to the 90s.
Wow.
So that way everybody gets in
Can I tell
there.
Art about Chuck Berry?
What?
Oh, I guess you won't then. Well, what?
Oh,
Come on.
Yeah, he's in there, Chuck Berry, Al Green. I haven't finished yet.
I can't.
Until I start finishing what I'm doing, I can't
divulge
finish
it.
the book. Who knows what I will get next time?
How will you know when you're finished doing what you're doing?
1992 is my deadline.
1992 is her deadline. That's great.
I finished about 5 years ago personally.
How about the Rockettes at the Louisiana Hayride? Now, come on. That was bizarre.
That's true.
Oh, wait, so you were at the Rockettes at the...
I helped get him there with Tom Ayers.
Uh-huh.
First thing Levi said to me is, I want to go to Louisiana. I said, okay. And so we shipped them off to they did the Louisiana Hayride.
Okay, speaking of guys who ought to be on the Louisiana Hayride, you know, we have Ronnie Mack still here standing
Yay.
by, ready to go. We could swing one camera over there. I appreciate it. We'll talk for another couple seconds. What position besides looking for writers? God, you'll get a lot of calls after this show if you run it in L.A. saying you're looking for screenwriters. But what condition is the project in? I mean, you got a production company?
No.
No. So
We had a little trouble, you know, getting people to commit to this because of the AIDS issue and the heavy drug. They're all worried, you know, and I keep trying to tell them it's a period piece. It's like Dangerous Liaisons or something, really.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm trying to, because
Well, it's also
they're worried about it.
It's about the scene. It's 60s nostalgia rather than just the
Yeah, and they're worried.
the
you know.
romantic angle.
Well, we got
of
a
it.
really good director now, so we should be able to get a writer, and then you put it together. And
Who's
then you
directing it?
well, no, I'm not stopping.
Oh,
think
and,
didn't
and
mention
then
Ali
you get
Sheedy.
like the production company involved.
Ali Sheedy owns the book.
Ali Sheedy bought it because she wants to portray me, which I think is a lot of insight.
How old is Ali Sheedy?
No, that's very nice. Okay, thanks. Let's go on and take a listen to Ronnie. Ronnie Mack, one of our favorite guys. I'll go back on this camera. One of our favorite guys. Ronnie plays every Tuesday night at the Palomino. Actually, he plays every night of the week at different clubs, but we know we can find him Tuesday
Yeah,
night
he's
at the,
great
at
there.
the KLAC, right? KCSN Barn Dance. So let's go. Ronnie Mack, take it away.
Thanks, Art. This is a song I just wrote a couple months ago. It's called Mama's Reward. Well, Mama, bless your soul.
Life's been a long, rough road, but you came right through. Now you're in your final days. You brought me to this earth, been with me since my birth, and I promise you now everything's gonna be okay. You read your Bible every night, said your prayers by the candlelight. You prayed to the Lord, did it help us to get by? And whenever times got tough, Mommy stayed so tough, though I'd hear you cry yourself to sleep some nights. Well, Daddy worked 18 hours in the mines every day. He nearly killed himself so his family could survive. But Mama stayed by his side for many years, a long, hard ride. Mama's reward is coming by and by. final days are near at hand, and it's more than I can stand. I can't stand to lose you, Mama, this way. Well, we never had a lot, you and Daddy are all I got. I almost wish I could go with you to the grave. Well, Mama, when you see the Lord, say hi for me and tell him I hope to be with y'all someday. Oh, Mama, please don't leave Daddy and me to grief. Oh, I love you, Mama, more than I can say. Well, Daddy worked 18 hours in the mines every day. He nearly killed himself so his family could survive. But Mama stayed by his side for many years, a long, hard ride. But Mama's reward is coming by and by.
So Ron, I know you have a record out you didn't bring on with right now, a single with Rosie Flores, a duet.
It's a new duet. It's so neat. You should talk about Graham Parsons and stuff, and it's a remake of a song that Rosie and I learned years ago, and we always wanted to do it, and I always wanted to do it.
What song is that?
It's called Brand New Heartache. And it's a song that I think was originally recorded for the Grievous Angel album, but it never got on it.
And that's where you got it?
Yeah, there's like a few songs. Well, no, there's a few years later they released another album.
Some compilations,
right?
Compilation
things, some old burrito things.
Some of the more senior members of this panel are thinking of the Everly Brothers version.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
That one too. And you know, we went in to record this song. It was on a Rollin' Rock, as you know, about 5 years ago or so, and we did the Everly Brothers version. And it just didn't, you know, it didn't cut it, you know. It was like too slow or something, you know. So I always liked the Graham Parsons version and stuff, and we did it.
So some record stores around LA are carrying that.
Yeah, they have it, you know. It's still hard to get airplay and stuff because, you know, it's an independent label, and to get played on the big country stations is pretty rough on an independent label.
So we're seeing you, like I say, every Tuesday night at the Palomino. It's a great thing. You're doing a great thing, a great service to mankind out there.
It's also free, so it's okay for us to promote this shamelessly on the air.
That's right. We're doing a lot of public access promotion here, but it is a free show, so it's a great thing. We thank you for doing that. That was a country song. I hope you have a rock song for us a little later.
Oh, that's right. You're the guy that hates country
music.
No,
I don't hate country music.
You said it on my answering machine.
I'm a rockabilly guy. What can I tell you? So we'll come back to it a little later and finish it up.
Okay.
All right, so thank you very much,
Thank
Ron.
It was very pretty. Remind me of my mother.
Oh, I liked it. I liked it very much.
Yes, now, is that about your very mother?
No.
Oh.
Her.
Actually, it's about Mercy's
mother. My mother. Yeah, that's why I left her, because my mother died. That's why I left. Couldn't take it. Okay.
So what else? We have some other photos of Pamela. Do we have any photos of Miss
and
Mercy?
Mercy.
Yeah, Mercy?
This is Alice Cooper.
No, I'm not a nurse.
Now, what's this from?
This was when I was retarded enough to dye my hair platinum blonde.
When was that?
God, that was bad news.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was 70 or 71. No, 73.
And now in this photo here, it's kind of hard to find you unless you look.
I'm on the bottom in the precarious area. This is Keith Moon dressed like a woman. He often did this. He enjoyed it.
Oh, he just thought he would, or?
No, he liked to pretend he was someone else. He was
I
always
see.
trying to escape himself because he was such a pain in his own ass. I'm allowed to say that, I don't know. He drove himself crazy, so he would take on these different personalities and characteristics so he could avoid himself.
I see.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, when that period, the early 70s, you were you were in many years of hanging around the rock scene. Not many years, not hundreds of years, but I mean.
No, about 10 years.
You know, you never got to, the first years when you were aware of rock singers, you never got to relate to them like you wanted to.
No, please, I was a virgin till I was almost 20 years old. Because I came from that era where you were supposed to hang on to this for the right man, you know. And the right man was the wrong man. And you know, I'm sure that happens with most women. I'm sure their first experience is usually like, oh my God, is that what it is? Please, you know. So
your first main crush was Dion.
Oh, Dion. Oh, you know, I met him recently.
We had him on the show about 2 months ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Isn't he the sweetest thing in the world?
Nice.
Do you love his new video?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Specters in that.
I met him, I wrote a little piece on him in there, and I met him like last summer. He was playing Radio City Music Hall. And I was so nervous. I was so nervous going to meet this guy. It was like meeting all four Beatles for me. It was like, oh, I'm going to meet Dion. Oh, my God. And I went in there, and he was so sweet.
Oh, it's
And I said, you started me on the road to decadence. Aren't you happy? And he was quite charming. He was eating mozzarella cheese. The real kind. It was kind of soggy and dripping, just like biting into it all.
I see.
Oh, that was interesting. It was
Well,
beautiful.
what about you, Mercy?
In the early 70s, I was at the Johnny Otis household.
Yeah.
It was fascinating because I saw all the people that started rock and roll record. It was
Yeah.
blowing my mind.
Well, that's right. He had
It was better than living in Hollywood. Yeah, everybody was recording.
He had
Blue
Louis
Spec-
Jordan, didn't he?
Louis Jordan, Amos Milburn, Big Joe Turner, Johnny Guitar Watson, one of my favorites that's still around here, Sugarcane Harris. Oh, God, who else? You helped me with that Blue Spectrum. Who else was on that?
Well,
Joe Liggins, everybody, just about anybody. Joe Turner used to sit in the dining room, get ready to go on tour.
Wow.
I mean, it was fascinating to hear all this. Etta James, Little Esther. So I met Charles Brown. Let's not forget Charles. I looked out the window one day, and here comes this magnificent-looking black man coming down the street. So I answered the door, and he went, hello. He-
Charles Brown.
I was in a convalescent home now up in Oakland. He's still playing Slims, though, which is the coolest club in the world.
Well, that's neat.
Boss Skaggs' new club.
So you made this musical transition. You were a rock and roll.
No, I've always been a rhythm and blues. I've always been.
No, not
Yeah.
only the Tammy show. You made the transition. I mean,
Yeah.
at that time, and then
Well, and the black radio stations that kept coming in.
yeah.
Yeah, hardcore roots, like country and everything. But I enjoyed the punk. I enjoyed that too when it happened in the '70s, just because it was going to, like shatter the stupid commercialism that was going on. That was great.
Uh-huh.
That was fabulous. Were you down the mask? You came right after.
I wasn't masking. I was here, but I wasn't. Really
But you weren't in the mask with like Brendan
I was
Mullen.
chasing-
Todd must have made it in there one day.
Actually, I never was. No, I met Brendan at the lingerie. Didn't know him in the mask.
Right.
Oh, I
Right, because
did.
I was busy chasing
going out with
rockabilly
you.
down. I mean, all I cared about was.
He was the best. Never mind. Anyway, Brendan Mullen's amazing, but that was real scary down there.
Yeah.
Like I would sit in the whiskey praying, "Oh Lord, please help me." I was doing hair, and I said, "Please bring something gorgeous in here." And just then, Levi and Lee Childers walk in the door, and I was sitting next to this punk, and I go, "If those guys can sing, you're finished." You know, and I said,
Fortunately for
and
him,
I
they
walked
can.
up, Of course, he couldn't sing, but at least he, he acted like it. And then, I mean, he could sing, but he wasn't a great singer. But
Where is he now?
Levi, he's still kicking around. He's
Yeah?
lives in Hollywood, and he has putting a new band together right now. As a matter of
Oh,
fact.
good.
Yeah, I have his number.
no, he's a great artist. I mean, he's just not a great singer. But Brendan Mullen started booking in all the R&B like Johnny Otis. You tell Johnny, "Hey, they love you," and he go, "Oh, you're dreaming again, Mercy." And then, that whole thing got pulled in with Brendan Mullen is responsible for a lot.
Sure.
He's done a lot of great stuff. Yeah.
He has. He really did. He didn't mean to. It wasn't deliberate. Because I had asked him during the punk scene, "Do you think that blues will come back?" And he said, "Mercy, we buried that 10 years ago." And I just saw there's a documentary on the blues scene, and there's Brendan Mullen at 15 sitting in there in the marquee with the
Really?
Rolling Stones.
Wow.
A close-up of him.
Wow.
It's weird. I got to show you that sometime. It's true. I said, there he is. He said, "Oh, no, the blues will never come back." Because that was weird. The whole thing that happened, Brendan Mullen's amazing.
I know it's in the book, but I don't remember exactly who was the first star you met. I mean, because you were trying to meet famous
First
people all the
star,
time.
You mean that got to know?
Yeah. I mean, just
The
We
Birds.
just met.
Chris Hillman. Yeah, he was my. I'm still in love with Chris Hillman.
well.
Some things never change.
How about you? Because were you? I mean, I don't know if you guys parallel in the mid '60s.
No, I was from Haight.
we
I
met
was
in
from Haight
'69.
Street.
Hey, were you up
Juvenile
there?
Hall sent me down here. I ran from Juvenile Hall authorities.
Juneau Hall.
I was arrested in Juvenile Hall, and I
Juvenile
had to
Hall.
leave before they brought me down here. I got a day off, and I split down here. That's how I met them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it rolled into that because I couldn't go back, and I was by myself. I was a kid, 15, on the streets.
We only got about 2 minutes left, but then how did Frank Zappa get you guys together?
Ended up at his house, and he said, "We want you in the group."
There were 5 of us already in the GTOs, and he's told us he
Were
wanted us
you-
to write some material, and then
Were you
Cinderella.
babysitting Dweezil and that sort of
It's
thing at that point? Or
Miss
was that
Christine
later?
was doing that then, but that's how we got into Frank's house. We started, hanging out with her and dancing with her with Vito.
I mean, that was
Half the prostitutes,
Prostitutes.
the streetwalkers, were living in the same house Christine was, and that's how I ended up over there.
Oh, that's how you met her. Okay, I met her at Frank Zappa's house.
True that.
And he said, "Well, we want to have Mercy in the band to keep it well-rounded or something." He thought we needed Mercy.
Bizarre
so
element.
I fought it. Believe me, I said I don't want this girl in the band. But then
Why not?
I grew to love her. She was a freak in a way that I was a freak too. But she was a
I was a street. I was an
She
early
was a
bad
real
lady. I
freak.
was like
She
15
was-
years out on the streets.
She was out there.
Lot of
Even more so
LSD.
than she is now, if you
So
can
what,
imagine.
you were a genteel valley girl and she
Gentile,
was...
no. I was a valley girl. I
No,
was a
Gentile.
hot valley
Ah.
girl. Gentile, yes, that's it.
Anyways, speaking of street people with a lot of credibility, we have Ronnie Mack still standing by. Oh, yeah. So I want to thank everyone for coming down today. I want to thank Pamela. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you,
very
Art,
much.
for doing so much for the community.
And we got 2 minutes. we got 2
He's
minutes.
almost going to take that straight.
I meant it seriously.
We got 2 minutes left, and we got the unbelievable rockin' Ronnie Mack with us.
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Most rockabilly songs are 2 minutes or less. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
it's perfect. So Ronnie, take it away.
This is a semi-rockabilly song. We'll do this for Pamela and Mercy. We used to
Yay.
see Pamela every Monday, but now we don't play every Monday, so just make pretend I'm 5 years younger and have a black pompadour.
Uh-oh, hint, hint.
I've been traveling over mountains, even through the valleys too. I kept traveling night and day, running all the way, baby, trying to get to you. Ever since I read your letter, where you said you loved me true, I kept traveling night and day, running all the way, baby, trying to get to you. When I read your loving letter, then my heart began to sing. There were many miles between us, Lord, but they didn't mean a thing. Oh, I just had to reach you, baby, in spite of all that I've been through. I kept traveling night and day, running all the way, baby, trying to get to you. When I read your loving letter, then my heart began to sing. There were many miles between us, Lord, but they didn't mean a thing. Oh, I just had to reach you, baby, in spite of all that I've been through. I kept traveling night and day, running all the way, baby, trying to get to you. Yeah, I kept traveling night and day, running all the way, baby, trying to get to you.
Yeah.
Yay!
You know, that ties up real well. Actually, that does tie up because that was by the Eagles on Mercury.
We're a very grand person's dad, aren't we?
So, Ronnie, nice to see you.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's also by Elvis.
When I read your loving letter, then my heart began to sing. There were many miles between us, Lord, but they didn't mean a thing. I just had to reach you, baby,